On today's episode, we're going to be talking about, talking. Our thoughts on communication before you get married. So you're planning a wedding, the happiest day of your life, or maybe just daydreaming about your big day and looking for advice and inspiration. Is it all feeling more stressful than serene? Welcome to the Bride Social, where you'll soon find anything and everything to make your planning process less stressful and more fun. From your first swipe to the first dance, the Bride Social won't just become your favorite website, we're going to be your new best friend. But not in a creepy way. And don't worry. We won't tell the maid of honor or the best man.
Hey, Adrian.
Hi, Tim.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
You're good. You answered that question before I even asked it.
I can.
That's like communication.
Mind.
That right there.
That is subtle communication,
That is communication
right there. That is nonverbal communication.
Yeah. Is it subtle or are you creeping in my head?
No. I'm not creeping in your head, I promise.
You don't want to creep in my head.
No. God, no.
No. So today we're going to talk about couples and their lack of or need to or perfection in communication.
Okay.
All that stuff.
Yep, and especially things that should be communicated or that we would recommend communicating about before you walk down that aisle.
Like counseling? Is it really counseling? I don't think it's counseling. I think it's like couples. It's not therapy.
Premarital counseling.
Is it counseling though?
Yeah,
I mean, what if they just need tips on communication, like how to communicate?
I mean, I think it's still called counseling, but yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's kind of a before you get into a tricky situation, here's how, to navigate it. Here are some tools.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like going to the store and buying a toolbox before you go ahead and launch into ripping your toilet out.
I think we need to, we're going to have to hold that for a second because Maya was FaceTiming us.
Maya was FaceTiming?
Yeah, but now that's over. This is the unscripted life, I guess, is that we need to just turn everything off, and we don't. Anyways, yeah. So we're going to talk about a handful of subjects. We're just going to touch on things that couples need to discuss before they get married. A lot of things couples should discuss before they even get engaged.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
One of the biggest is probably having children.
Whether or not you want to have children, if one of you does and one of you isn't sure, or if you know you both want to, when that's going to happen.
Or if one can't.
If one can't, but you both want to, then you got to.
Well, there's ways around that. But if one can't, but one wants them, then that's definitely a discussion that needs to be had. Because why can't this person, and so on and so forth.
Yep.
And then I think the other thing with that is timing. Like, we get married and we want kids, but maybe I want kids right away and the other person doesn't, or maybe one person wants kids 3 years down the road. Like, timing's a crucial part of that too, for financial reasons or life or.
Well, and in regards to not just kids, but money and goals and maybe where you're living, or are we buying a house or not buying a house, or are we buying a new house? I think maybe before you get engaged, and certainly before you get married, to kind of look forward, the next 5-10 years of your life and make sure that you're on the same page, or at least mostly on the same page about where you see yourself as a couple, where you see yourself as an individual, and make sure everything lines up.
Yeah, and
if it doesn't, it's not to say that this isn't going to work. It's just that you're going to need to communicate about it.
We're awesome.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, okay, so you have kids. You've discussed when you want to have kids. You have the money to have kids, or you don't, which is fine.
We have kids.
We do have kids.
We do have kids.
We do have kids.
Yes.
We have adults.
We have adults.
We now have adults.
That hurt.
Yeah. Whatever. So you have the kids. They have whoever is having kids has kids, and then it's going to be raising the children, which is the other thing, because you need to you need to know how you're going to parent with your person.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of it you won't know till you get there, right? Because
that is true.
You won't know till you get there. But there's some really important things. Are we going to raise our kids with a particular religion? Are we going to raise our kids with, certain kind of I don't know, rules about eating
and
or
smoking weed,
or how to discipline or not discipline, or kind of what your just general theory is. Smoking weed?
When they're 5 and 6. Do we want them in kindergarten?
Right.
Rolling up on the bus.
Do we want them token up on the bus or not?
Yeah.
And right. So super important things. Yeah, you got to talk about all that.
Side note: we don't actually condone kindergartners smoking weed.
We don't condone it.
Wait until 6th grade.
Right.
No, don't even do that. Just wait.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's legal. It's legal, whatever. Anyways, yes. So it's going to be parenting. It's going to be disciplining.
Yeah.
And how you're going to raise them.
But again, it's not like you're going to know all the questions that need to be asked until you're in the situation. But again, to kind of have a general idea of, this is how I see raising my kids, or this is how I was raised. And these are the pieces of that I feel I want to do or not want to do.
That's important.
And then, what's really important to you, like religion. Religion is a big one.
Yeah.
And if both of you are the same religion, then that's
obviously
probably going to work out well.
Easier, but if you're
each dedicated to a religion and it's a separate religion, then the children will probably be raised with both. But that can get tricky too, right? Because you're basically teaching two different
if
lessons.
one person's Mormon and one person's Jewish, there are going to be some different...
It's going to be questions. It's going to be questions.
Lots of questions. I mean, let's start with circumcision.
No, let's never start. It's the worst way to start. I mean, I'm sorry. I know I won't offend the entire community of people who circumcised, but wow, what a way to start your life, man.
I know, right?
That sucks.
Chop. That's trauma right there. I still have PTSD.
You do. That's what it was. He was 13 in your kitchen or whatever it was.
Yeah, I was 12 with a knife.
God. Anywho.
So one last thing about the children before we move on, though, is the other key part of that is how many. Right.
Yeah.
That's key. Although I think some people who might say, "Oh, I want 4 kids." Once you have one, there's a chance you may want 0.
You're like, yeah, I'd like a half.
I'd like. Yes.
Could I actually just?
Can I put half that back?
Yeah. Can I just babysit?
Yeah.
3 days a week, maybe.
Maybe 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or they have one and it's a great child, and you continue to have them.
But see, I think that's and to be fair, I never did a premarital counseling, so I don't know. I don't know exactly what's talked about or not talked about, but what I'm guessing is that this, like money and again, how you see yourselves 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I think all of that, if you guys can paint a snapshot, each of you independently of what you think this 5-year chunk of time looks like. Don't show it to each other, right? Write it on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And then swap papers and be like, okay, this lines up, this doesn't. Again, the things that doesn't, it doesn't mean that you're not going to have a wonderful, beautiful marriage, right? Marriage is all about making things work and moving through conflict, and still loving each other at the end of the day. But again, those things that don't align, it's really good to identify what those are before you're down the aisle, or before you're pregnant, or before you're signing off on your new mortgage, or so on and so forth.
Well, and I think you can take what you just said and take that and also run it into this next subject of money and careers and financing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's another one, put it on paper, paint your snapshot, which, by the way, you don't paint a snapshot, that's a photo.
Who says paint your snapshot?
Well, you did about 3 minutes ago.
I said paint your snapshot on a piece of paper. Is that what I said?
You did. So I'm going to take that.
Because I've had children and my brain doesn't work anymore. So let that be a warning to you all.
For the financing and money careers, we're going to paint a picture.
We're going to paint a picture.
While she's taking a snapshot.
Hey, if I want to paint a snapshot, I can paint a snapshot.
You can paint a snapshot, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So next up, we're going to chat about is money, is careers. Money and financing tends to be the biggest...
I think it is the biggest.
The biggest.
Yeah, source of conflict in marriages.
Yeah, in life.
Hands down.
Across the board.
Money, and that's a tricky one, right? I would say it's safe to say, most couples at this point are dual income you're both working.
Yes, definitely.
Will that stay the same when you have children? Will one of you no longer work? Are you both okay with that? Or will both of you work and have a child go to daycare? Are you both okay with that? One of you might not be. Dad might say, you know what? I don't want to have kids in daycare. And mom might say, hey, I've been working my whole life for this career. I'm not staying home. So, hello, that's a problem.
And it's a problem if you don't agree. So you need to figure out how to communicate through that and find an agreeable stance. And also, from there, are you going to have joint bank accounts? Or are you going to pool all your money? Because if one person isn't working and the other is,
right,
and you're not pooling money, there's going to be conflict. And if you are pooling money, there could be conflict because the person's staying home.
It absolutely, like both situations that you just mentioned, there's opportunities for conflict. And I'm like fascinated by this because I have couple friends who do both of those things. So I have a couple of friends that do everything is pooled, everything is in accounts, everything is a joint account. And I have friends who everybody has their own account, and then there might be like a household
to cover bills
that they both put into, and that works for them too. And it's just interesting to me.
We should have each of them on.
We should.
We should have both on at the same time.
We should.
So we can have this discussion and
yeah, because I actually feel kind of like okay, if it was me, I feel pretty strongly that marriage is give and take, and just because you're earning money, let's say, right? You're earning more money than I am. You're not. I mean, you are, but but let's just say, as an example, my husband, my theoretical husband.
Theoretical because I'm not actually her husband, but we have had kids.
We do have kids, though. We do. I don't have a husband.
I don't have a wife.
No.
Single.
Wow. We're experts in this field.
We are. Well, see, that's why we know
We've had them before, though. We've had more than you have.
Maybe.
Maybe.
We don't know this. We don't know this.
We don't know that. Okay, my point is that if it was me, I would feel like just because you're out earning a financial, living for us, I'm contributing in this, that, and the other way. And the idea of having separate accounts, if there's like a drastic kind of imbalance of the two, that doesn't seem fair to me at all.
It doesn't seem fair. And if you're going to have a joint account, though, the other thing that could throw that off is if one person is a spender and one person
Why are you looking at me?
Not. Well, muckle like boots.
I could use a new pair, by the way.
Yeah, you're not getting them from me.
They're really good. They're old. They're very old.
But so if you have a joint account and one person is a spender, there's going to be the question there: where did that $300 go? Where did that $200 go?
Yeah.
And that goes on further. And so if you have separate accounts, or if you have a joint account for bills and stuff, and then a separate account, and I don't want to say everybody gets an allowance, but if you have one person staying at home, they should have spending money.
Absolutely.
You can't just say, no, you don't get any money to go do things you want to do.
Right.
Like, that's not fair either.
No, and the other thing that could be nice about having separate accounts is for big purchase items, obviously that should be a discussion.
Yeah.
But to just go out and live your life and maybe buy a pair of new boots, I wouldn't want to necessarily have to run something like that by... It would make me feel kind of like a child, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like
and that's the thing. So
it becomes like a weird dynamic.
If you each have separate accounts that you're putting whatever into, one person might save up for 2 years to get a $6,000 bike.
Right.
The other person might spend that money every other week to go out. I mean, it comes down to personal preference, but then there's no question. Like, I don't get to question this person who spent money out of their own account. It's their money.
Right, it's their money. Yeah, so no right or wrong. There's no right or wrong to any of this. It's just a matter of communicating.
Which you need to do about your careers as well. Yeah. Because right now you're engaged. Maybe you're engaged. Maybe you don't even have a boyfriend or girlfriend, which is fine. You can still listen to our podcast. Adrienne, why are you yawning?
I'm sorry, I went to bed at 3:30 a.m. I'm very tired.
Well, if you'd stop partying...
I know. And I live a rock and roll lifestyle.
Oh gosh, yes you do.
I really do.
You need to discuss your careers now. You need to discuss your career goals, because if one person has a goal of being a senior VP at a company, they're going to have to put in the hours to make that happen. If one person wants to just live their life and enjoys a 9-to-5, punching the clock in, punching the clock out, and they want to stay there, the other person should know that too, because your goals might not align.
And you need to support your partner. And so if your partner has a job that's going to require a huge amount of hours, a week away from you, away from your relationship, they're going to need the support of the other part of this marriage, and so you have to be on the same page.
Okay, so we're back. So
we're back.
We had to take a quick break because somebody walked in. Again, this comes down to why we need a podcasting soundproof
podcast room. It's coming. We're very excited.
We are very excited.
We're so excited.
Are you going to sing like that?
I am. The new intro is going to go, soundproof podcast room. Yeah.
You missed her jazz hands.
You missed my jazz hands. But when we post these on YouTube, you'll be able to see all of it.
Yeah, unfortunately, for better or worse, you'll get to see everything.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so a little while ago, we talked about being Mormon and Jewish and getting married, which is sort of where we're going to go now.
Okay.
Not to the Mormon and Jewish community, or Christian, or Catholic, or so
Buddhist,
a
marriage where each of the parties celebrate a different religion
and value
and feel strongly about bringing that religion into the marriage, into, if you have children, how to raise them, so something that's important to you.
Yeah, your faith and moral values are going to be key in this, and you do need to talk about that. While it might not be a big deal now, it's going to be a much larger deal as you grow older.
Yeah, why not right now?
Well, I think now, it depends how old you are. Let's first of all look at, and I'm going to totally bracket certain age groups. Somebody that's in their early 20s, while they might have a faith they believe in, I think in your early 20s, for some, it's not as strong as it is as you get older. I don't know why this is. I mean, look at church.
I don't know about that.
Let's go stand, I tell you what, tomorrow morning, let's go stand outside the church up the street.
Okay.
And I bet most of the people going in are 45 and older. I bet there's less 20-year-olds.
Well, I think that's because there may just be less young people involved in the church these days.
You think that's what it is?
I do. Yeah. I think maybe there's just less young people.
Is it because they're not communicating about their faith and morals before?
I don't think so. I just know that, for some people, they were raised with a religion. It's been part of their upbringing, but they don't feel particularly passionate about
they're set.
About practicing it and raising children that way. It's kind of something that it's been there in their life, but it might not be something that's one of the most important things to them. But if it is, then that's certainly something that the other person needs to respect. And if there are differences, right? If there's differences in maybe where your kids would go to school, or how they would be raised, what they would be taught about.
And that's what it comes down to, is it's the respect key. Because while one person might believe in it, even in a strong way, the other person needs to respect that to a point that, okay, I'm not going to necessarily come to church with you every week, but I respect your values in it.
I think it would be great, because I think that for someone who is very very devout and very involved in the religion, I wonder how many marriages each of the parties would have like super conflicting religions, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't know necessarily what would be like the two most conflicting, but my point is we should try to find a couple who are married, who and both celebrate different traditions. I mean, those are pretty radically different, yeah.
They are.
Or like, Jehovah's Witness and
a Buddhist.
A what?
Or a Rastafarian.
Yeah, something like that. Exactly. But exactly, like that's a big deal. How would that even work?
Yeah.
But it could. It could. I just would be interested. I'd be really interested to hear what that would be like, and how they would navigate all those conversations
and respect each other's values, and allow that to be free with each individual.
Right. Yeah, interesting. We're going to find a couple.
We're going to find a couple who is Rastafarian and...
Okay, well, maybe not that. Well, hey, we'll try. We'll do our best.
Let's do our best.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe we should start with a couple that's, both Catholic, and then we can work out from there, because that would be easier to find.
Well, that would be easier to find.
That's not the point.
Yes.
Okay, that's not the point. Okay. We could have a fight right now about this.
About what?
About this.
About this.
That's what we're going to talk about now, is handling fights.
Oh.
Why did you just go cross-eyed?
Did I go cross-eyed?
Yeah, you did. Again, YouTube. This is where YouTube needs to come in. You're gonna fight.
Okay, yes, you're gonna...
Everybody fights. You're gonna fight.
I don't like the word fight.
You're gonna argue. You're gonna conflict.
Yeah.
So what is the word we want to use?
You're going to not agree. You're going to not agree.
Which is
and then the minute you don't agree, what happens from then? Does it turn into a fight? Is it a conversation?
Well, I think that's what it is. Yeah, when you... Well...
And if it does turn into a fight, then what?
No, because you can easily...
How do you fight with fair rules?
Well, that's the thing, is where is the line drawn? Because you can easily disagree on something.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean we're going to argue. It doesn't mean there's going to be a conflict or there's going to be a fight. So, I mean, do you know a couple that hasn't argued or hasn't had a fight, conflict? So, it's whatever you want to call it, it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. And everybody has their style.
And that's what it comes down to, is learning how to negotiate through a conflict while honoring that person's style of conflict. Because it is tough, because one person might shut down for a little while and need some time, and the other person might need instant closure. Mm-hmm. Or... Yep,
and I think typically, I was just reading Mars and Venus go on a date, and so it was all about, the way that men's, and not to, like, cast a big broad, like, stroke across, like, the sexes, the difference in the sexes, but men tend to avoid conflict, okay? Women tend to want something resolved right away. So a man might be saying, give me, like, bitch, get out my way.
Yeah.
Or, like, give me a minute, go. And me, my gut is going to be like, no, fix it. And be, like, coming at you. Like, no, we have to talk right now. We have to fix it.
And all that's going to do is elevate.
It's going to escalate the whole thing. Exactly. Yeah. So, like, learning how to fight in a healthy way. Not be passive aggressive. Not bring a bunch of your preconceived notions and past and experiences in the past and relationships in the past into how you're going to fight now.
Yeah.
Not taking things personally, being brave, talking about it, being willing to not talk about it for a minute. That's the key right there. But no,
that's the key. So that's the key right there. So while one person might need a little bit of breathing space and the other person might want to do it right now, I think being brave and just talking about it.
Yeah.
Even if we need to say, okay, look, we're having an argument. We need to take a time out. And let's come back to this in 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. Let's come back to this in 30 minutes. Because you're still going, not you, but you, are still going to get your resolution in a relatively
it's hard to be patient when your feelings are elevated, when you're angry, when you're hurt. It's hard to be patient.
It's hard to be patient for anything.
You want it done. You want it resolved. Or you want to be right. It's very hard to be patient, but that's a big deal. You absolutely wait till everyone is calm enough to have an actual conversation.
Yeah, because then you're also not going to say anything that is going to come back and bite you in the ass and start a whole nother
because
argument.
words stick. Words stick, and you can't take them back.
They do, and they echo for a long time.
A very long time. Yeah, if not forever.
And for some people they don't.
Not
but
to scare
I find that for most people, what you say or what you hear is it's gonna echo.
And that you just said something else which is brilliant and so true. What I say and what you hear are not the same thing.
Yeah.
And so being able to communicate, I heard you say this, and give your partner the opportunity to go, whoa, I didn't say that, or I didn't mean that. Yeah,
and for the clarification, because if you don't do that, you're gonna butt heads and you're gonna resent each other.
Yeah.
For not understanding and for something that wasn't even intentional.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
A very well-meaning gesture could come across as something that is hurtful.
Yeah.
To the other person.
Without any ill intention at all.
Right. Yeah, we should have a therapist on as well.
I think we're going to.
We should get Dr. Ruth.
I don't know if we can afford Dr. Ruth yet.
Okay.
maybe.
Dr. Ruth, if you're listening,
come on, let's come on board. We can call you up. You don't even have to come in here.
True.
We'd like you to come in.
It's 2020. We can.
How old is Dr. Ruth?
Is she alive?
That's what I was going to ask that, but I didn't want to go there. I was trying to not go there. Is Dr. Ruth still alive? Can somebody text us?
Oh my gosh! If she's not, I'm going to feel so badly.
860-977-9269. Let us know if Dr. Ruth is still alive. Google that shit for us. Dr. Woof. Dr. Woof. Maybe we can find somebody who sounds like Dr. Ruth. Can you? No.
I'll work on that for next time.
Let's work on that.
Yeah.
Anyways, this could get boring now.
Okay.
So before it does, deals, deal breakers, bucket lists. I mean, I think the biggest thing is a deal breaker before you get engaged.
Yeah, what's a deal breaker?
Even early on, like, I don't necessarily know what your deal breaker might be. But
well, it would be different for everyone, I would imagine.
Yeah,
some of them would be the same, right? Cheating. Is cheating a deal breaker? For some people, yes. For some people, no, because it's circumstantial. Who knows?
You might work through it, you might not.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't really know. I don't know. I don't even know what my deal. Like, what about if somebody leaves a coat hanger in the bathroom every single time they take a shower?
That's not a deal breaker. If that's a deal breaker, you're never gonna have a. Yeah, you got to get over it.
It might not be a deal breaker, but is it something that's going to aggravate you and annoy you enough that it could start arguments or it could start being resentful?
Well, then you need to say.
And that's where you need to communicate.
I am annoyed. I find it annoying when you leave a hanger in the bathroom every single day. Could you please put the hanger back in the closet when you are done putting your pants on? Now, that being said, who brings clothing on a hanger into the bathroom? Wouldn't you just get dressed in the bedroom? I'm not understanding the scenario. More so.
Sometimes no. Sometimes there might be a person that might bring a shirt into a bathroom on a hanger.
I've never in my life brought a hanger into the bathroom. Ever. Never. Not once.
Oh, but you know somebody who has. I guarantee
suppose,
this.
Yes.
No, I definitely know.
Oh.
You definitely, I can guarantee 110%. You know somebody.
Okay, I'm going to give an example of this. Okay, because now we're kind of getting off the we're off the beaten path anyway. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But okay, so this is good communication, and this is actually not a story about me and a spouse or a boyfriend or anything. This is me and one of my children, one of our children actually. So one of our children who shall remain nameless, because everyone is innocent until proven guilty. Yes. One of these children, every single time this child takes a shower, which we encourage showering, by the way, so that's good.
At least once a week.
Yep. But every time this child gets out of the shower, this child leaves the shower curtain open. Yeah. Does not close the shower curtain. And so for weeks and weeks and weeks, I would go into the bathroom and I would, I would have the sense of like, oh, God. And I would close the shower curtain, but I never said that it annoyed me. Not once did I actually tell this child that this annoyed me. And I just kept getting madder and madder and feeling like it was this personal assault to me that this child was leaving.
Because of a shower
curtain open. And then finally one day I went in and I had the same reaction, and I went to close the shower curtain. I thought, you know what? Never once have I just said, this bothers me, could you please not do it anymore? And so I went out, I found the child in question, I said exactly that in a calm way, and never again, from that day forward, was the shower curtain ever left open.
Well, hang on,
I got
have
myself
a question.
all upset
First of all,
for no reason, and only because I hadn't communicated how I felt about the stupid shower curtain.
A couple things. One, the shower curtain is still left open at my house when this child is at my house. Now,
well, you didn't tell this child.
Only one of these children
we have to
still
keep
goes
saying
back
this
and forth,
child because we only have one of this gender. So if we
we just narrowed her out now. So second thing, I think we need to talk about. We're not going to talk about right now, but I do want to just point out why does a shower curtain make you that upset?
Because when you go into the bathroom. First of all, it's not a large bathroom. Second of all, the shower curtain's really pretty. And third of all, I don't want to walk in and look at, like, the inside of the shower, which is probably not the most, like, it's just, like, random bottles. And, I mean, it's not attractive.
Is that because she's in there drinking?
It's not attractive.
Is it? What? Now I'm concerned about...
She did go into the shower with, what was it? A hard cider the other day. I found a hard cider bottle in the shower. I'm like, really, right now? Really?
This was hers.
This was hers. Well, who else would it be? It's not the 5-year-old.
Do we talk about that she's not 21 yet? Are we sure it's not the 5-year-old who's smoking weed?
It might be.
No, he's not smoking weed. It's. Anyways. Yeah, all we're trying to say, guys.
Anyway, you gotta communicate.
If you need,
don't take it personally.
No, and if you need a mediator, if you need a therapist or counselor,
there's so many wonderful.
Go get one.
Wonderful
it doesn't
counselors.
Have to be weekly. I mean, you could probably learn how to communicate, learn how to argue, discuss certain things in 2 or 3 sessions.
And it's nothing to feel. I think people feel like embarrassed or like there's something wrong, but it's the exact opposite of that. I think seeking help is the strongest, bravest, most intelligent thing that you can do.
Help me.
Yes.
Was that brave?
That wasn't brave.
Oh. Was it? Okay.
I am not.
Help me.
I am not a certified counselor. I cannot help
you were definitely not a certified counselor.
I cannot help you.
I think we need a session just for your shower curtains. Anyways, okay, we're gonna wrap up.
We're wrapping it up.
That's it for now. I'm gonna go and find a hard cider because now I want a hard cider.
In the shower.
I'm not gonna drink it in the shower, but I bet that she just said she showered at my house, so I guarantee the shower curtain is open.
I would guarantee that mine's not.
I hope all you guys have a great day and don't have a shower curtain
Have a shower though. Have a shower.
Definitely shower.
Have a cider.
Have a cider.
Yep.
And go communicate.
Go communicate.
Yeah.
Till next time.
Bye.
Bye. Tim.
Adrian.
That's a wrap on today's episode. To all of you lovers, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to follow along and find us on the Instagram at The Bride Social or on Facebook. And don't forget, you can text us to 860-977-9269 with any questions or thoughts that we can help with.